From San Diego, California, this is the Frug Life Podcast, the show that teaches you how to save, invest, and earn money. Here's the host, Mr. Frugal himself, Ricky Hirsch.
Welcome to the Frug Life. A friend of mine asked me, how can I make more money? And actually, his question was more complicated than that. My friend is in a situation where he needs more money and he's asking, how can he create more money? Or really, how can he also save more money is, I think, part of the question as well. So before we get into actually making money, I think that sometimes the first and easiest step is to just spend less money. I think I've mentioned this principle before, but I'm a fan of the philosophy of Descartes. I think this is Descartes. I don't know. It's 8 o'clock on a Friday and I'm tired, so let's just go with that. And his approach to philosophy was to take all of the principles that you have and starting with a clean slate, an empty basket, examine each of your beliefs one by one and put them back into your basket of truth, like the basket of your brain. And likewise, you could budget like that as well. Look at all the things you spend money on, throw them away, and item by item, find out, what do I really need? What are my necessities? And add those necessities back, and all the items that are not necessities, don't add them back. I think this is a little extreme, but I think it could be quite effective. And actually, I think I have an episode on zero-based budgeting where I talk about this principle, this idea. So let's talk about making money, though, because that's the title of the episode, or income sources, or whatever I end up actually calling it. As far as lifetime income sources go, for most people, employment from a job is going to be the primary, or at least initial, source of funds. I will have to do more material on this topic, but increasing your income from your job will serve you quite well. Ramit Sethi has some materials on asking for a raise that I think is very useful and something to check out. I'll try to link all of this below. I also think some of my material on getting a college education and learning skills that will generate income is good as well. Doing all of that takes time, though, and so it may not be the answer my friend is looking for right now, although it may be part of the long-term solution. Next is income from investing. I think that's maybe the number 2 or possibly even the number 1 source of income for a lot of people. But remember, investing is not a way to make money quickly. If you're trying to make money quickly via investing, you're actually probably gambling. Investing is a way to make a lot of money over a long period of time. It takes diligence and it takes patience. Or maybe not so much diligence. There's definitely ways to invest without spending too much time watching everything. So again, this isn't really the answer my friend is looking for, right? Because he probably needs money sooner rather than later. My friend actually specifically asked me about content creation as well. Content creation also generally takes a lot of time to really reap benefits. Kind of like investing, except with content creation, instead of investing money, you're investing your time. And with content creation, you invest a lot of time up front, and you will get income later, maybe. It's kind of a tough industry. Believe me, I'm in it. I have the podcast, and I have some blogs, and I have some other writing. And it in general doesn't make me very much money. It's such a drop in the bucket compared to what I make from my job. So we've covered quite a few things that do make money, but not necessarily in the situation that my friend is talking about. So let's take a quick break and let's talk about some more options that I think may solve his problem. Just here in my garage, bought this new XLR microphone here. But do you know what I love even more than material things? Knowledge. And with Anchor, you can find and share knowledge. With Anchor, you can easily create and monetize a podcast. The billionaire Warren Buffett said, "The more you earn, the more you learn." Visit Anchor.fm and make your podcast today. Welcome back. I think I do need to apologize. My audio in the first segment has some clipping in it that may have annoyed you, so apologies. It's a long and boring story, but I've tweaked my setup slightly. And by that, I mean I unplugged it and plugged it back in. Anyways, let's talk about the topic at hand, making money. So I think at this point, the big topic to cover is side hustles, which probably should be an episode all of its own, and probably will be at some point. It's vaguely in the work. Now, you probably are familiar with most of the side hustle apps. You know, to my friend, you may be able to drive Uber, Lyft, or DoorDash, you know, the delivery apps that everyone's heard of, or Instacart or whatever. And you might make a little money doing that. I know some people, and depending on their venue, make okay money doing that. I think the cool thing about doing those things is there is some flexibility, especially on Uber and Lyft. If you are in a big city, you can just do it on the side. I mean, granted, you won't have any free time if you're working your day job and doing side hustles on the side. But I think this isn't a long-term solution, right? It's just a kind of a stopgap, and it may help you. There's also some other similar apps like that. I mean, if you like dogs, you can check out the Rover app and basically do the same thing, just you're a dog walker. I think there's some app called TaskRabbit or something like that. You know, there's actually a really good podcast called Get Rich Nick, and they have episodes on all these topics, so you should check that out. They also have an episode on selling plasma, which could be a viable option. On top of that, I do have a book about making money, which I've shared with you, but also will be in the link in the show notes. I think it costs like $3, and it'll give you some ideas and some websites that will help you generate a little bit of income. Your side hustle also might be something like freelancing, which I've spoken about before as well. I think I have an episode on freelancing on Fiverr, which I will link in the show notes, hopefully, if I remember. But also, I think the big theme of that, to ruin the episode, is that if you have a skill, you can find people that you know or acquaintances and offer them that skill for money. For me, sometimes I have a friend who has a business who needs some accounting guidance, and I provide that to them. All right, so I think at a high level, I've provided a few different ideas. I've kind of shotgunned a few different things for you and kind of given you some direction on things that might not work. Maybe we'll do a follow-up episode on some of the things that are working for you, or going more granular into any of those ideas. I think we could do something with content creation that could get you a little bit of money in a reasonable amount of time. All right, well, thank you everyone for listening. I guess this episode is perhaps a little bit more conversational than most of mine because it's kind of to a specific person, but I think it's helpful for everyone, so I hope you found it insightful. If you have your own questions you want answered on the show, you can always reach out to me. I have all my socials in the show notes where you can reach out to me. Or, I mean, chances are you see me in person from time to time, so you can just ask me. All right, thanks for listening to today's episode. Have a great week, and as always, stay frugal.